This piece is called The Virgin of Guadalupe, and it's an oil on canvas piece uh, with wood, though, also, and it's inlaid with mother of pearl, like a shell. And there's a particular term for that, and that vocab term, and I'll get to in a minute. It's done by Miguel Gonzalez, and it's part of that early colonial America's art unit. And again, made in the very last part of the 17th century, like around 1698 or so. So the story, basically, I put in context the story so you can understand the image and how it came to be, how it comes to be one of the most significant and popular images, most sacred images, actually, in Mexico, and especially Mexico City, where this was originally found. So there was an indigenous peasant named Juan Diego who is up on a hill and sees this glowing image of Our Lady and the Virgin Mary, or Lady of Guadalupe. And she asks him to build her a shrine on this spot, so she could provide love and care for those who believed, a place where they could find comfort and be close to God. And she tells him, go tell the archbishop and arrange for this shrine to be made. So Juan Diego does just that. He goes to the archbishop of the city, tells him what he saw, but the archbishop needs like physical, visible proof. So Juan Diego goes back up to the same hill where he originally saw the Virgin, and she tells him, gather these flowers and present them to the archbishop, and that will be proof. Now, what's unusual is it's like winter time when this happens, or a time when like these flowers she wants him to get and that he finds should not be blooming at that time, and it's a very unusual flower. So he gathers up his flower in his cloak, the flowers in his cloak. He goes down to the archbishop, and when he unveils these flowers from his cloak, and the cloak is called like a tilma or tima, when he presents these flowers, a vision of the Virgin appears miraculously on this cloak. And that vision looks tremendously like what you're seeing here. And so the cloak of Juan Diego has become the most sacred object in all of Mexico. And it is held at the Basilica of Guadalupe, that shrine that the Virgin of Guadalupe originally wanted him to have built. And it is an image that has appeared and been recreated in art many times in many locations on many different things. It is an incredibly powerful and important image. So let's take a look. But before that, I wanted you just to see the shrine, or the Basilica of Guadalupe in Mexico City, which is on the left. And then on the right, you have the original cloak and that miraculous image of the Virgin of Guadalupe, and it is being admired by Pope Francis, our current Pope, the Catholic Church's current Pope. So content, she is in the center, surrounded in this mandorla of light, and her head is turned down and her hands are clasped in prayer and devotion. She, again, is surrounded by light, and a crown of light kind of emanates from her head and all around her body, and she's standing on a crescent moon that is being held aloft by a seraph, which is a holy winged being. If you said angel, you'd be fine as well. And that depiction of her on the moon and the light coming from her comes from the book of Revelations in the Bible, which is about the apocalypse, where a woman is clothed with the sun, with the moon at her feet, 12 stars around her head. And so we feel like that imagery is what comes from and is seen around her with the moon and the light. Now, usually, and you kind of see it here, Guadalupe images have a slightly grayish, ashen, like darker skin. And there are a couple of reasons that people believe that. It could represent an indigenous woman, since this was made, in the late 1600s, and in the New Spain and the New Americas here after the time period when Christianity had come over from Spain in the 1500s, or it could be a reference to the Virgin Mary's beauty and her black skin that we see referenced in what's called the Song of Songs, a story about love in the Old Testament of the Bible. So it's not an uncommon way to depict the Virgin of Guadalupe or other Virgin Mary images that have been in Europe. So we're not too sure why, but it is a common and beautiful way to depict the Virgin Mary with that darker skin. The four corners and images, those ovals, have the story of Juan Diego. You see him in the upper right-hand corner on his knees, submissive there, paying tribute to the Virgin of Guadalupe in a similar light encased imagery, and then the depiction of him presenting the flowers to the Archbishop. Around the frame, you have flowers painted on the frame, which is a reference to the flowers being presented to the Archbishop, these miraculous flowers that spill out onto the floor, and then her image appears on his cloak. The one vocab term I'd like you to have is a term called enconchado, which means an oil painting, which is what this is, with shell inlay. And the shell creates this beautiful, reflective, glossy quality that just enhances the feeling of divinity with light. If it were just oil paint around her body in that mandorla, I don't know if it would be quite as spectacular, but with the encanchado and light, in the space where this piece would be depicted, you would just have the light bouncing off and reflecting off that shell, which you definitely see the most of in her body there in the center. And so that encanchado really does help enhance this sense of divinity and go back to that book of Revelations part about her being clothed with the sun. And her cloak then has that reflective shell, which would then symbolically create that sense of sunlight and divinity radiating off of her. So that is the Virgin of Guadalupe, but what I want to do is function here is definitely religious, sacred object here. And formal quality, you could do that pattern, the pattern of floral design around the frame, suggestive of the flowers from the story. You can do texture with the texture of the shell being very glossy and surface and reflective, allowing that light to reflect and enhance the story in that way too. So I think pattern and texture would be our best bets for formal quality, or even you could do color too, that reflective color coming from the shell, and that would work as well. So again, that's the Virgin of Guadalupe by Miguel Gonzalez, creating here a very sacred object with the Virgin of Guadalupe and kind of the replica of what was the original miraculous image of the Virgin of Guadalupe that appeared on Juan Diego's cloak. And again, the Virgin of Guadalupe being the protective kind of patron saint and religious figure of Mexico City.